In the first 18 games this season, Bayern Munich were unbeaten. And you'll say, typical Bayern, isn't it? Except it's not. This season has been going the way we are used to for years. Successful, professional, predictable. But at some point it became clear, something different is happening. This new-look team is scary, playing on another level than any other team in the world, and nobody's talking about it. The question isn't, are they strong? You know the answer to that. But are we observing a version of Bayern Munich that never existed before? A good Bayern team doesn't surprise us. A squad full of elite players, a world-class striker in ridiculous form, and a club built to compete for every trophy every season. What looked like a good start became a pattern. The pattern then became a standard, and the standard now becomes unnatural. Instead of the ups and downs, Bayern played with the same rhythm every match day. Instead of the tense one-goal scraps, they played with the same control, same efficiency, like a machine running at full power with no variation. Bayern are winning football matches in a way that does not match how football teams usually behave over this many games. Just a straight line of performances that look impossible. We have seen them dominate before, like they did in 2013 or in 2020 when they won the sextuple. But none of those teams went 18 games unbeaten, scoring 64 goals this early in the season. No one is talking about this, so let's do that. Even after the loss to Arsenal, the numbers don't make sense. Bayern played 19 games, winning 17, drawing 1 and losing 1. At the same time, they have scored over 60 goals, conceded only 18, and have a goal margin that you normally see in late April, not this early in the season. Teams that are this explosive usually leak goals or burn out after the international break. Bayern haven't, and this is the part that breaks the pattern. When you stack this season next to Bayern's own golden eras, 2013 treble Bayern, 2020 sextuple Bayern, even Pep's peak Bayern, none of them reached this level this early. None produced this combination of stability and violence at the same time. It's the same thing when you zoom out to Europe. Manchester City's treble season, Real Madrid 2016-2018 run, Arsenal's invincible run, Barcelona's peak Pep era, PSG's 2024 run. Teams with elite squads, elite depth, elite coaches, all living in the same statistical neighborhood. Their numbers set tightly clustered between goal difference, goal scored, defensive record, all within 2 or 3 units of each other. And then there's this Bayern team, with a curve that breaks away from the pack, like a line that refuses to share the same paper. To understand why Bayern looks superhuman this season, you have to look beneath the goals or wins and study the machine Vincent Kompany built. What Vincent Kompany has built at Bayern is a tactical system that removes uncertainty from football and replaces it with something closer to physics. And it all starts with his backline that doesn't sit back. Most teams defend with 4, Bayern builds with 3, and sometimes 2. Neuer steps forward like a third centre-back. Upamecano and Tah split wide to stretch the press. Kimmich or Pavlovic steps into the pocket to create a pivot triangle. Automatically, Bayern now has an overload of players in the first phase, more passing angles everywhere, and constant control in the middle of the pitch. This is why they hardly lose the ball near their own box. The structure doesn't allow it. But it doesn't stop there. Kompany's system also cleverly uses fullbacks that don't behave like fullbacks. What this means is, on paper, they're fullbacks. On the pitch, they're wildcards. Take Limar on the right. His movement is tied to Olise. If Olise stays wide, Limar steps inside. If Olise drifts inside, Limar overlaps. Always complementary, never redundant. On the left, Stanisic plays like a roaming midfielder, sliding into central pockets to build triangles, then exploding wide to stretch the block again. These movements break defensive shapes before Bayern even reach the final third. The attacking third is where Kompany breaks football tradition completely. He treats Kane and Gnabry as dual playmakers, not fixed strikers, but free-moving orbit players. They drop deep to build play, they drift wide to overload, they press like forwards, they create like midfielders. This is why Bayern never gets boxed in. There's always an extra player showing for the ball. However, none of these will work if the wings are not doing their jobs properly. Luckily for Bayern, they have two of the deadliest wingers in the world. Olise, the elegant dribbler, smooth, technical, impossible to read. Luis Diaz, the explosive virgin, accelerates into space like he's been launched from a cannon. Together, they stretch the pitch horizontally, then collapse it vertically. This is where Bayern suddenly feels unfair. You defend one side, they kill you on the other. You drop deep, they shoot. You press high, Neuer drops a laser behind you. There's no correct defensive answer. Put simply, it's a shape built to suffocate teams. When Bayern reaches the final third, their shape becomes ridiculous. 2-4-4 or even 2-2-6. They stretch the pitch with 6 attackers, 2 pivots, and 2 centre-backs on the halfway line. It looks reckless, but in reality, it isn't. Because the distances between the players are so tight that if Bayern lose the ball, they win it back in 2 seconds. Kind of like Klopp's heavy metal style of football. This is why opponents can't counter. This is why Bayern spends entire halves playing inside their opponent's box. Their structure traps you, literally, inside your own penalty area. But here's the thing, Kompany didn't copy Guardiola. He didn't revive Flick's verticality. He didn't mimic Nagelsmann's pressing. He fused all three. Guardiola's positional control, Flick's direct killing instinct, Nagelsmann's high pressing intelligence, and then he added his own twist. Freedom with purpose. Every player can move as long as the structure remains intact. It's like jazz with sheet music. Freedom with rules. And this is why their numbers don't make sense. Because Bayern aren't running on form, they aren't running on luck, they aren't running on a hot striker. They're running on a tactical system that allows them to perform at a high level for longer, with fewer dips and almost no vulnerability. This is why the Arsenal loss doesn't break the story, it proves it. When Bayern lose, it's a shock, because their structure almost never cracks. A system can only take you so far, but Bayern's terrifying secret is this: they have the exact players needed to make Kompany's design feel inevitable. Let's start with the obvious, Harry Kane, the striker who plays like a midfield general. We know Kane is very good, but what makes him perfect for Kompany's system isn't his finishing, it's his positioning intelligence. Kane doesn't stay high, he drops into the hole between midfield and attack, dragging centre-backs out of position and creating space for the rest to run into. He stabilizes the team when they're under pressure and destroys opponents when they leave gaps. But if Kane is the balance, Diaz is the disturbance. Explosive, direct, uncoachable speed. He turns half spaces into highways. He forces defensive lines backwards just by existing. And unlike past versions of Diaz, Kompany has given him a finishing role, a responsibility he is taking personally. But he's not the only one. Olise is the opposite type of nightmare. Where Diaz runs like fire, Olise moves like silk. Smooth feints, disguised passes, sharp left foot. He adds control to the chaos. He slows the game when Bayern need a breathe. He speeds it up when the system is ready to strike. Together, Olise and Diaz create the wide threat that makes Kompany's 2-2-6 shape possible. You collapse one side, the other kills you. But every great system needs a brain. And in this Bayern system, Kimmich and Pavlovic are both the brains and amplifiers. One gives direction, the other gives structure. Kimmich orchestrates the rhythm, Pavlovic protects the shape, and both ensure Bayern's attack never disconnects from its defense. Then there's the backline of Upamecano, Tah, Stanisic, Laimer, and Neuer, who honestly needs no words to describe just how good he has always been for Bayern. Individually, these guys are good, but collectively, they are terrifying. They're aggressive enough to push high, disciplined enough to recover, and comfortable enough on the ball to build like midfielders. This is why the entire system feels suffocating. It's not just company's ideas, it's the profiles executing them. But here's the crazy part, Bayern aren't even at full strength. Jamal Musiala and Alphonso Davies, both worthy of his starting place, are out with injuries. So here we are. This is a team that should not be possible, playing a season that shouldn't exist, under a manager who was never supposed to be there. We can talk tactics, we can talk stats, but the real story is simpler. Bayern Munich have found a version of themselves that look closer to destiny than football. And now the question isn't about the wins, or the goals, or even the trophies. The real question is, if this is their foundation, what will they look like in May?